The Dershow.
The polls show that young Republicans are upset at Trump because they don't like the fact that he has involved himself in the Middle East war, in the Ukrainian war. They want America first, no involvement in wars. They want Tucker Carlson. And if you want Tucker Carlson, then of course you're going to be upset at Epstein because Tucker Carlson is part of the conspiracy theory. Tucker Carlson knows that Jeffrey Epstein was really a secret spy of the Mossad. He worked for Israel. Why? Because he's Jewish. And if he's Jewish, he must have worked for the Mossad. I mean, it is so bigoted. There's no evidence at all of any of that to support it. And as I've said before, I know I have sources within Israeli intelligence. I was one of their lawyers, and I've represented some people who have been former Mossad agents, and I've checked with my sources, and I confirm what former Prime Minister of Israel, Bennett, has said publicly, and usually intelligence services don't make these disclosures, but he has disclosed that they've searched within the files, and there's nothing there. This happened to me once before. I was representing a man named Anatoly Sharansky, then became Natan Sharansky. But Anatoly Sharansky was accused of being a spy for America and in Russia, and they were going to execute him. And I went to the White House. Jimmy Carter was the president, and I helped persuade him with the help of Stuart Eisenstadt, his chief domestic assistant, that this was an exception to the general CIA rule. And sure enough, President Carter, what a difference. President Carter announced that he said, I have inquired deeply within the CIA and within other intelligence agencies, and I can now represent without any doubt that Anatoly Sharansky never had any connection to any American intelligence agencies. As a result of that, his life was spared. He was not executed. And 9 years later, I helped get him out of prison and greeted him when he came to America for the first time. And so it's rare for an intelligence agency or a former prime minister or president to say that somebody was not working for the intelligence agency, because then if they don't say it about somebody else, the inference is, well, maybe they were working. But Bennett, the former prime minister of Israel, did say that he knows that Epstein had no connections to the Mossad, but Tucker Carlson says he did. And he says everybody in Washington, D.C. knows he did. No, they don't, because it's not true. Now, it is true that Alex Acosta, the former United States attorney for Florida, did say that one of the reasons Epstein got a good deal was that he was told that he was working for the CIA. I have to tell you, I made that deal. I was much closer to the case than Alex Acosta. Although he was the U.S. attorney, he was not hands-on in the case. There was another lawyer named Jeffrey Sloman, who was a very good lawyer, who was the one who made the deal. And I'd like to hear from Jeffrey Sloman whether there was any information that he worked for the CIA. There wasn't, and he didn't work for the CIA. And I am completely positive about that. But we have these conspiracy theories, and now it's become created or reflected a division within the Republican Party. We know there's a division within the Republican Party, just as there is within the Democratic Party. In the Democratic Party, it's the hard left wing headed by AOC and Bernie Sanders and Mom Donnie, this new guy who's going to probably be the next mayor of New York. There's that, and then there's the kind of the Schumer wing, which is more centrist and moderate. That's the dispute within the Democratic Party. In the Republican Party, it's the group that are isolationists, America first. We don't want to see any involvement in foreign wars. We don't like Israel too much. We don't like Ukraine too much. There's that wing in the Republican Party, as distinguished from the Trump wing, which is more commonsensical. They're America firsters, MAGA, of course, make America great again, but they understand that America has a role to play in the world, and that if Putin manages to capture more territory in Ukraine, it will be bad for America. And that if Israel were, God forbid, to be subject to a nuclear attack from Iran, that would be bad for America. So, the Trump wing of the Republican Party, although some people consider them extreme, compared to the Tucker Carlson wing, is moderate and less extreme. So we're seeing that dispute within the Republican Party. We're seeing a comparable dispute within the Democratic Party. In other countries, they would divide and become four parties. In Israel, there are like, I don't know, 13 parties, 14 parties. Other countries have 6 or 7 parties. The United States has 2 and will always have 2. And Elon Musk is not going to change that. If he runs, he'll suffer the same fate that Teddy Roosevelt suffered with what he called the Bull Moose Party, which never got electoral success, and neither would Elon Musk. Now, when you have 3 people running, obviously it has a big impact. Take, for example, the Mamdani election. Mamdani could not win an election today if it was a referendum. Do you vote for Mamdani or against him? The majority would vote against him. So if he runs against 2 candidates, Mayor Adams and former Governor Cuomo, all he needs is 40% of the vote, because nobody else is going to get 40% of the vote. They'll get, probably 30 each. And so he'll win 40 to 30 to 30. The only way to beat Mamdani is for one of the candidates to withdraw, and neither is going to do it. And so if President Trump wants to see Mamdani defeated, and I don't know what his views are on that, I can understand how it would be interesting for him to have what he calls a communist running New York City. He has a way of doing it if he wants to see Mamdani defeated. What he can do is he can offer a position in the federal government, an offer that you can't refuse. And he can make Adams an offer he can't refuse. Cuomo possibly, but more likely Adams. Give him a job in the administration. That gives him a graceful way of bowing out, because he's going to lose the election. I think he's down to 8% in the polls. This way he comes out as a winner. And then Cuomo has a shot at beating Mamdani. There's still, another candidate, the Republican, technically the Republican candidate, and he could get a few percentage points of voting. He can get as many as 7 or 8%. He's not going to get above 10, and maybe he would withdraw if he saw that he stood between Mamdani and being the mayor of New York. So we don't know how that's going to work.